the whole act of going viral, I guess even before the internet, I was, the act of going viral was just, to me, say what's on your mind, stand on whatever you believe in. And I'm a firm believer in that. I come from the old school, so it's like, I'm very vocal about certain things. I've experienced a lot in my life. So things that I stand on might not click to everybody at the time, but they've clicked in my mind to be something that I have to speak out. And I guess I'm a Cancer, so, we're real emotional. We wear our emotions on our sleeve.
Yeah. Now, our platform is named Reallyfe Street Starz, right? And
yes, sir.
Our whole thing is we like getting the underground, the people that have a story that didn't get to tell their story.
Okay.
For Benzino, what does street star mean to you? Like, what is a street star in your opinion?
See, that's what Benzino is. That's what, I came from my father, and I always started out with him because that's where it starts off. He was in the streets heavy, and I started doing street activities at an early age because of him. And I don't say that in a negative way, but that was the environment and that was the life that I lived. I came out the house probably about 12, 13 years old and just, hit the streets, started, of course, I'm going to school. My mother loved her to death, so I didn't want to disappoint her. So I'm bouncing going to school because I have to go to school because that's what my mother says, and my father. My father's in and out of jail, but I'm doing things for him at an early age. Grew up in projects where, that's in the 70s. See, it's different. I grew up really in the 70s. I came out the house in the 70s. I'm 59 now, so I'll be.
70s in Boston?
Yeah.
Ooh, what was that like? Ooh.
Boston in the 70s was a different place because, it was segregated, of course, like most places, like most cities were. But Boston, Boston is an old city, old values. That's where Plymouth Rock is. Remember when Malcolm X said, we didn't land on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock landed on us.
Yeah.
That motherfucking rock is still there. Nasty ass rock is still there, right? So as kids, they would take us field trips to go see that motherfucking rock. Now the rock got graffiti on it, there's all kind of shit on it, and the rock got smaller. But it just goes to show you that Boston's where it all started from. Like racism really started right there, like colonialism started there. Quincy, Braintree, Boston were the first towns of America before the 13 colonies. Like that's where everything started right there. So you got to understand, that is their territory. White Anglo-Saxon Protestants, Irish people, Italians, Jewish. Black people really always took a back seat. So growing up, it was segregated, a lot of projects, a lot of street shit, but then you have to deal with all that, a lot of drugs, but then you got to deal with white people crossing boundaries. If you're in some parts of somewhere, you risk getting fucked up, you know what I'm saying? Like, that was fucked up. And the boundaries, Dorchester's right there next to Roxbury, and Columbia Point Projects is right next to South Boston, and East Boston's downtown, which downtown couldn't be neutral. Like, black people had to stay at the South End, Roxbury. Little 15, maybe 10-mile radius back then, it expanded, but it was fucked up because I grew up in schools beefing with white people and getting chased by white people.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Wait, what was like one of the most racist things you've ever experienced?
Oh man, a bunch of them. Like, let me tell you. So most of the time, what people gotta understand is when you're watching something on civil rights, it's usually in black and white, right? When you watch an old video about a whole bunch of people, white going against black, it's usually in black and white, right? If you look in Boston, it's in color. Like, the busing started, it was the busing where they was trying to get kids out of the inner cities to get them to go to couple of black kids, just a couple, we're not a bunch, just we want them to experience some good schools because we know the schools in Boston, in the city, are fucked up. So they would ship a couple of kids out there, and not just the school and not just a couple of people, the whole city, town would come out, thousands of people, and throw stones at the bus and try to turn the bus over. And we talking little kids sticking up their middle fingers, 6, 7, 8 years old, grown ass old ladies, get them the fuck out of here. We don't want them in our, we're talking 3 or 4 kids coming off a school bus to go into a school in their neighborhood, and to the point where they had to get police escorts. So this was going on in the 70s, right? You know, so you grow up with this sense of like, damn, like, this is crazy. You grow up with a sense of like, man, white people are against you. And I grew up with that because wasn't no white people in any projects we lived in. We probably started out in 2 or 3 of them before we moved into a second floor of a house, it was a nice house, but it was still in the hood. So, you know, I grew up. If it wasn't later on in life for my father introducing me to his guys, you know, like Italian guys, older men, Irish guys, men that he had did time in the feds with or he's doing business with. And these guys were like serious men, you know, these were serious men. If it wasn't for me to meet them, I would have thought all white people were bad. You know, at working with him and working with them over the years, and then, you know, dealing with them and their families, you start learning, even though it's coming from a criminal aspect because we was doing criminal activities, but you still, at least it didn't make me like, all white people are bad, because I grew up thinking that, because every time you turn around, you know what I'm saying, you fighting somebody who's white. I got my first year of high school, I went to Boston Tech. My first semester I kicked out, because there was a racial beef, a bunch of white kids. I had got stabbed. We had 2 like riots with them and shit. One of them I got stabbed. They kicked me and like 7 other guys out. And they kicked a bunch of white guys out. We went to Boston Tech. You had to take a test to get in there. And I ended up getting kicked out. My mother was pissed. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? I got stabbed over, you know what I'm saying? Like on the bus. Like the first time we was beefing with them, the second day they came with knives and shit. And mind you, you know, you got to understand, like, it's segregated. Black, like, okay, Boston's not that big, but, you know, everybody, South Boston's Irish, East Boston and North End is Italian, Roxbury, South End, Black, and you did not cross them borders. If everybody would see each other downtown where the stores was, and that's where the fights would take place, so the chases would take place. If we seen a white dude out of bounds in our spot, we'd stomp him out. If there was a black dude and he gets stomped the fuck out. And I grew up with that probably my entire life in Boston.
Real life.
It ain't real life. Just say real.
Real life street stars.